heard a lot of people recently calling me the AI prompt girl, which is really funny. I never thought that would be a thing. I remember sitting at a founder's table, felt like they were speaking another language. Like they were talking about capital raising, exiting, like all these things. I just remember it being so foreign, but now I actually understand everything they're saying, which is crazy. Nothing compares to like organic social media. Like we could spend 5 minutes on a video at work, just a funny little office skit, and it's got 10 million views. Like nothing compares to that. Action and reps over and over again, proving to yourself that you can do it and that you're capable of doing hard things. Just whether it's content I need to post every single day, not for anyone else other than myself, to prove to myself that I can stick to that goal. If you as a founder are just obsessed with the journey more so, because it's not just the end result, it's the journey of learning and who you become. I just know that you're going to make it work. I think a lot of people are offloading their thinking to ChatGPT, and that's a big issue. Creativity and critical thinking is a massive question around AI at the moment. There's never been a better time to start a business and back yourself and to just take risks, because I think your 20s are for working hard and just...
So if somebody now is listening to this podcast and they're like, I'm just about to finish school.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I want to do or where I want to be or where I would go and work. What advice would you give them?
I would just say...
When it comes to using, I want to transition a bit more into what you're doing now.
Yeah.
When it comes to using AI in business, you've been known as the prompt queen. Maybe I should just refer to you as that.
Funny.
That's going to be the heading of this like podcast, prompt queen. You've been known to share prompts for like large language models like ChatGPT about, you know, creating brands and creating a, you know, strategic playbook and all of these things. How did you learn about AI? Like you've obviously not studied it, but how have you learned so much about AI and seemingly more than the average person?
I'm very lucky. I knew nothing about AI when I got into the job, like nothing. I used ChatGPT for a few things here and there, but we were lucky in the sense that I got hired when it was just founders table. So we had a bit more time on our hands to explore, because obviously it wasn't all systems go for Kinso yet, but we were trying out every AI tool possible to plan for Kinso. So I was lucky. Frank and Jacques would come into work every day and they'd be like, oh, on the weekend we just went on to this deep dive of like frameworks for different prompts. And then I started asking questions about AI because I was like, I want to improve. Like, how are you doing it? Because they were masters at it. Like, I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how are your answers? Like, I remember my answers were terrible and they would have these like insane answers. And then they just were like, don't ever stop asking questions. Like, just be curious. So I just asked more questions. And then, they just taught us everything. And I think with AI, there's definitely tips and tricks to it, but the main thing is just using it. Like I was lucky I got to use it all day, every day at work. And the more you use it, the more you realize what works and what doesn't, and how to prompt and how to, what it's good for, and what you should rely on it for and what you shouldn't rely on it for.
Yep. And if you had to give a person a prompt or an AI prompt that they could use day to day, or perhaps a better question would be, what is the best way that you see ChatGPT being used within a business? So on a day-to-day basis, like is it deep diving on research? Is it, helping formulate lists and, frameworks?
Yeah. There's many things that it could be used for, but I think first of all, it's great for planning. Second of all, it is great for deep research, as you said. So if you've got a task, you'd be surprised how much deep research can help. So you'd be like, I need to create this pitch deck with this market research. And you ask it for a prompt. So that's the key. We're actually not good enough to prompt it anymore. So you need to ask it to give you a prompt that then you paste back in. And I use Google Gemini for deep research, not ChatGPT. I just find it way more accurate. It's way more accurate. Like the links that it cites, you'll go on, it'll be a full website. Like I just find it ChatGPT is okay. It depends what you're doing though. If you're using numbers, statistics, like market research, I much prefer Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so deep research is amazing. Anything, ask it for a prompt, use Gemini to do deep research, like literally anything. And a random one we use it for the other day is, say if you're doing marketing, persona research, like everything, just day-to-day things, you'd be surprised how much you can research. And then there's a co-founder prompt that I love, and you set up a project in ChatGPT and we have instructions to set it up as a co-founder, and you load in all of your business info, and then you can actually talk. I actually talk to that one. So like if you're in the car, it'll be like you can spitball ideas or like you can. So I love talking with that feature because you've got it in the project and it knows all your context. It's got the system instructions. So it doesn't just be like, oh, that's a great idea. It'll question you, and it'll be like, oh, you haven't thought about this. It'll actually pick up gaps in your thinking, which is great. And the last thing that comes to mind is I think a lot of people are offloading their thinking to ChatGPT, and that's a big issue. Creativity and critical thinking is a massive question around AI at the moment. Even I saw a stat that was like ChatGPT usage dropped 70% in school holidays, which means that many kids are using it during the school terms, which is like
crazy.
Scary. I don't know what that means, but
totally.
I think what we can do is use it to our advantage. So rather than just being like, okay, default, ask ChatGPT for this, ask it to ask you questions to extract all of your thinking power. So be like, whatever it is, whether you're coming up with an idea, whatever it is, say, I want you to ask me questions to enhance my creativity and extract all my thinking power before we come up with an answer. And that is like, that's the best. I've been using that heaps lately and it's great. Another way to do it is, okay, I need to do this thing. Look at it from a different angle, because sometimes what it comes up with is like just rubbish. I have this thing that I need to do. How would Steve Jobs do that? Or how would Nike do that? Like say if it's marketing or whoever, you can look at it from a different angle. And we have like a detailed prompt for these. And then another one is when you're done the task, ask it to look back and look for gaps in your thinking. So what haven't I thought about? And sometimes it'll just come up with something and you're like, I did not even think about that, and that's crazy. Like, so they're the main ones that I use day to day. I think they're the most helpful. Yeah.
What do you think is overhyped when it comes to AI? Because I think we were talking about this before we started filming. Like the idea of AI, there's this kind of camp of people that are like, it's going to change the world and like it's going to take over your jobs and it's going to be the next big thing. Then there's this camp of people that are like, it'll blow over. Like it's just kind of hyped and it's, it's not going to be as big as it is. And I think when I'm having conversations with our clients about it, it's like AI has been around for a long period of time. Like, one of the main examples that I use is like if you've used Canva and you've used background remover, like that is a form of AI. And people are like, oh, really? And you're like, yeah, it's not just like large language models. Like that's one part of it.
One part, yeah.
What do you think is being really overhyped at the moment about AI?
If you are loving this episode, don't forget to leave a comment or hit that subscribe button. You have no idea how much it means for podcasters like me to get a like or subscribe, because it means that we can get better guests and we can get into more ears of people to help talk to them about marketing, social media, and personal branding. Now back to the episode.
I think there's so many tools that are like promising you the world. So like it's a tool that integrates with whatever is needing to be done, but it's actually like it'll promise the world on the website and then you'll sign up and it's not making your life any easier. It's just not there yet for certain things. Like it's really just not there yet. It doesn't mean it won't get there in a matter of time, but I just think that it's still a long way to go with lots of different things, but I just have the belief that it will very much disrupt the world. Like it's crazy. And even like I think that maybe like we might be looking back thinking, oh, I can't believe we all watched like the same movies. There was a selection of the same movies. I think there'll be a time when we get generated like movies for what we feel in that moment and what we want to watch in that moment. Like it's just crazy. And the stat that like it's going to surpass like human intelligence, all of humans combined by 2030 is just crazy. It's just crazy.
What do you think, I mean, we've talked about what's overhyped. What do you think is like one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to AI and integrating AI into a business?
Biggest misconception?
Yeah. What do you think people are like thinking it will do, but you don't actually think that that's going to happen?
I don't think it's going to make jobs redundant. I think it's going to really affect our critical thinking and creativity, which is worrying. And I think it's just the people that can use AI the best and just use it to their advantage in a smart way and not just rely on it for everything. But yeah, use it to their advantage. I think they will stand out, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Now, when it comes to standing out in your 20s, you talked about the fact that during school, ChatGPT use is significantly higher. And I was actually talking to somebody about this recently in the sense that I think that all like educational systems are going to have to change in the way in which we learn, the way in which we study, the way in which we absorb information because of ChatGPT and large kind of AI or language models that are pulling out all this information that would typically take someone a week to research or like a whole day on the computer Googling and what have you. Everyone is, you know, transitioning from school. They're coming out into the world of business and figuring out whether they want to go to uni or join a, you know, a business or a startup or go into the big corporate world and making those decisions. Do you think when it comes to standing out in a lot of noise, building a personal brand is the thing that's going to separate people from the rest of everybody else? Like, do you think that having a personal brand in, you know, in a world where, you know, you can literally just type into ChatGPT, find me all this information about this one person online and do, you know, some deep research on this one person and it pulls it in 5 minutes. Do you think that the thing that's going to get people to stand out from others is the fact that they have a personal brand or an online presence?
I think there's nothing that compares to by no means is it the only way to be successful is to build a personal brand. Like if you're building a business or you just need to have conversations with people, like that's the main thing, have meaningful conversations. But I think that building a personal brand is just the impact is crazy and the growth that you can experience quite quickly if you are consistent is crazy. And if you find your niche and if you find like people want to follow you on social media it's educational, they want to learn or it's inspirational, they want to follow along on your journey or it's entertaining and you're humorous. I think there's 3 reasons that people follow you on social media. So if you can find your thing, any one of those 3 or all 3, I just think the growth that can come from building a personal brand and the opportunities and the conversations that you can have from that are just insane. And yeah, I just think that like everyone's saying, oh, AI and business is going to create like a huge, like it's never been easier to start a business and we're going to have so many businesses from this AI boom. But I think that actually social media is like making people millionaires. Like that's like Minnow Lee, have you heard of him? And Cal AI, like they're just all creating these huge businesses off the back of social media. So I think, the impact is crazy, but it's definitely not the only way to do it. Like I think the main thing is just being curious, learning, putting yourself out there and having conversations.
Yeah. And as someone that, I mean, you've just said you're committed to posting every single day. Do you have a preference of platform on Instagram or TikTok?
I think they're very different and I'm still navigating this and different content works for both, which isn't ideal because I post the same thing on both every day. But I think that they're just different. I don't know which one I preferred. TikTok's easier to get growth faster. Like you can find your niche mine's talking about AI, and I had quick growth because that's what people were following along for. But and also giving away value worked for TikTok. So like giving away education and prompts and like giving away value worked really well. But then I feel like Instagram is more storytelling and consistent growth is Instagram. So it just depends. Like,
if you had to choose one for the rest of
different.
the year, what would you use?
Instagram.
Okay.
I like Instagram better.
Yeah.
I just had quicker growth on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I do like Instagram way better.
Love.
Yeah.
Now, you've got about 18K on followers on TikTok. What do you have a system in place for showing up consistently, like in terms of creating content regularly?
Yeah.
Do you have something in place that like is built into your routine that allows you to create content consistently?
Yeah, I think it's just finding something that works for you. But what works for me is in the morning I catch the train. So it's a perfect time to like come up with content ideas. So I'll write. I've recently started scripting a lot more, so I'll write I have my idea on the train, and then I'll script it on the train for that day. So then I'll film it at work at the end of the day, right before I go. I'll film it and then I'll edit it on the train home.
Okay.
And then I post it. So that's my system. But I think it's just having a system that works for you and like allocating, say, 2 hours in the morning just to focus on content, like having that time crunch, because it can take up a lot of your time. Like, but yeah, I think it's just having a system in place for what works for you and just repeat doing that every single day.
Yeah. Do you have one piece of advice that you would give to someone that's really struggling creating content?
I think it's find something that you're passionate about and that you're really interested in and then give value. Like just post educational content. That's what has worked for me, and I think people love learning. And so that's why they follow along, is to learn. So just I think that's worked for me the best. Just and having a mixture of like low effort content, because you will get fatigue, like creative fatigue, coming up with like high effort, huge scripted videos every single day. So I think it's like a mixture of one day with a high effort video, one day with a lower effort video. But yeah, having your thing that you're known for. So it's like Minno Lee's killing it at the moment for storytelling because he tells amazing stories. And then ChatGPT is killing it for AI. Like people, when they're describing you to someone else, it's Tahlia who does whatever. Like have your thing that you're known for. And I think that just helps you grow faster.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. Now, you spoke about personal branding not being the only way. I constantly have these conversations with people around personal branding versus upskilling.
Yes.
Like, are you investing into your personal brand so that people know about you?
Yeah.
Or are you upskilling so that when people do find out about you, you have the best skills?
Yes.
What would you argue would you argue that one is better than the other?
I think knowledge and skills is everything.
Yeah.
I think that comes first. So just learning as much as you can about this thing that lights you up. Like whatever your thing is, learn as much as you possibly can about that thing and grow your skills. And then when you feel comfortable, post. I mean, you can post along the way as well, which is an interesting thought. Like as I'm learning about this thing, I'm showing you what I'm learning along the way. So I think they can go hand in hand and you can do them at the same time, but I think skills and knowledge comes first. Yeah.
I agree. I think concurrently, to be honest with you, I think that if you've got a great personal brand but you've got a shit set of skills,
Yeah.
you're going to be found out really quickly.
Yeah.
But again, if you have a really cracking set of skills and unique set of skills,
Yeah.
but nobody knows about you, like they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like building both.
Yes.
And I don't think that one is more superior than the other.
Yeah.
So many people are scared to record themselves, and it's a conversation that I have with people weekly, if not daily. I'm scared to put myself in front of a camera. I'm scared to, film myself. I talk about the fact that when I was starting on TikTok, because I'm older, I didn't grow up with TikTok like I grew up with Instagram. filming myself on TikTok felt very unnatural. To music, like all of those things, it was just a very unnatural thing. So I did something similar to what you're talking about with posting every day. So I bet one of my team members, I was like, if you post 3 times a week on LinkedIn, I'll post every day on TikTok.
Yeah.
Whoever stops first loses.
I love that.
Right? And it just made me it desensitized me to the idea of posting on TikTok and feeling like an idiot. Do you have any tips for how to feel confident other than just doing it, to feel confident showing up and recording yourself on those platforms?
I think the first thing is just mastering talking to a camera. Like, it's hard. So even if you don't want to post it, for a few weeks, just set up the camera every day and just talk to it, because like that's the first thing. I remember when I first started, I was like, oh, this is so weird. Yeah. And I think I just got stage fright as soon as I would turn the camera on. So I think I started scripting my videos. So like I just write down rough ideas of what I wanted to talk about and then put that into a proper script. So you have your laptop there and you can just like, if you're forgetting it along the way, because you want to be talking organically, but then if you're forgetting, you have that to refer to. And honestly, just first you have to record yourself every single day. Even if you don't post it, it doesn't matter. And then once you feel comfortable, start posting. Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more. I think like it's so funny because like I'm somebody that naturally enjoys talking. Yeah. But when a camera's in front of me, like I will never forget when I first started this podcast, I was in this room and I was trying to do all of the cutaways, like thanks for listening, or you know, all of those little bits that you kind of segment throughout the podcast and end the podcast with, or whatever, all the little clips. And it literally took me hours to get like 4. I know, and I was like, crazy. I'm good at talking. Yeah. Like I have no issue with talking. It's like talking to a camera. Game. Yeah. So different.
So different.
I love that. Why do you think people should be creating content for their business or brand? Like, what is one thing that you've learned working at Kinso that you're like, wow, without organic content, like we wouldn't be where we are? Like, why is organic content so crucial for a brand or a business?
Quick pause for a second. I just want to quickly interrupt to ask you one thing. If you are loving the content that you are listening to, make sure you hit subscribe or leave a review. I want to keep these podcast episodes ad-free for as long as possible, and the only way that I can do that is by you guys subscribing or leaving a great review or sharing it with a friend. So that's all I ask of you today. Now back to the episode.
I think there's just nothing that compares to the distribution. Like, and especially now that we're just going to, like, especially in the AI and tech space, it's just going to become more and more crowded. And it's like, that's your way to stand out. So that's your moat. And it's just crazy. Like the time compared to the output. So like we'll spend 10 minutes on a silly little ChatGPT skit. It got 10 million views. It's like you've 10 million people have now seen you, and it doesn't necessarily convert. They don't actually convert that well, like those skit videos. But then now they've seen you, and they now go, oh, that's that person from the skit, or like that's that brand. So it's just being front of mind and just consistently posting, and then that compounding effect over time is crazy. Like we are on a mission at the moment to get 10,000 people on our wait list. So at the start, it just started off slow. We were still posting every day the same amount, but it's just that compounding effect over time. And once you just post enough and you get in front of enough people, it's just like the compounding effect is just crazy.
Huge.
Yeah.
And have you seen it? Like, it was really interesting. I listened to the story of the Oz Daily, the Daily Oz news platform on Instagram, right? And he spoke about the fact that like for the first 4 years of their business, they like had like 400 followers and they were like, it's going nowhere. And then like over like that 4-year period, they had nothing. And then they had, you know, the US election happen. And then they started sharing all of the content, and then it almost like boomed overnight. And everyone looks at that as like an overnight success, but they posted every day for 4 years and only had 400 followers. So it was like the idea of consistently showing up is just so crucial. So crucial. And even when no one's clapping for you or you're not getting that like instant gratification of like likes or comments or engagement, like it will eventually pay off.
100%.
Yeah. I love that. Now I'm going to quickly touch on Gen Z because you are part of the Gen Z group. They cop a lot of shit about work ethic. I have a bunch of Gen Z in my team and I love them, and I think that my business wouldn't be what it is without them.
Yeah.
Do you think that people have the wrong idea about Gen Z, or do you think that you're a kind of outlier when it comes to the generation in terms of like your work ethic, your desire to build and learn and be curious? Do you think that you're different to most in your kind of generation, or do you think that it's just a lot of people talking shit that they don't know about?
I mean, of course, there's like nuances in every generation, but I feel as a whole, I think Gen Z are super driven, and I think that's because like everyone says TikTok and Instagram's terrible, and it can be if you're sitting there doom scrolling all day, of course it can be. But I think that the knowledge that can be shared on there and what you can learn from TikTok and Instagram is crazy. Like daily, if you're using it for the right reasons. So I think that, Gen Z, I think that overall, like it's quite a driven, creative generation, and I feel like they'll like most of the time will say yes to a lot of things, which is great. And I mean, there's nuances to every generation, but I think overall, Gen Z is quite driven, and they like maybe we don't deserve all the hate.
I don't think you do at all. I don't think you do. And I think, although I kind of like the fact that I think that most people in traditional businesses do have that view of Gen Z, because I'm like, it makes getting great talent a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, for someone like me that's like, I love the fact that, I've got someone that's come in and cares so much about what we do and, is chronically online and knows what we, what works on socials, especially for a business like mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so glad that they're not going to like these traditional places. Do you think that the way in which you view work is different to perhaps your like parents' generation or generations before you?
I think what comes to mind is just like, I feel like their generation property was everything. And now there's just so many different options, which is amazing, like and so exciting. Like social media and AI, like I think there's never been a better time to start a business and back yourself and to just take risks. So I think, I think it's just changing, like it's just changing over time, and I think it's really exciting for us that all of these opportunities are at our fingertips.
Do you think that that's your biggest advantage as a 20-year-old or 21-year-old?
Yeah, I think that and time, like time on your hands is exciting.
Yeah. What do you think your biggest disadvantage is, being the age that you're at?
I just think a gap in knowledge, like obviously the older you get, the more mature you get, you learn more. So I think that,
Yeah. I think one of the things that comes, like I was someone that didn't go into, when I finished uni, I didn't go into a, what do you call, like an entry-level role in an agency. I was lucky to go into the next role up because I'd interned there and I'd kind of ticked most of the boxes for an entry-level role. So they were like, we can hire you for the next role up. So typically I feel like I've always been young in my role, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like age has always been looked at as something that is a disadvantage. That's like, oh, but you're too young. Even though you've got all of the experience a 35 or a 40-year-old has, you're too young for the role that you're going into. Do you think that that's kind of changing now, in the sense that, even when Frank hired you and you guys had that conversation, he was like, we need someone like this, and saw the kind of value that someone of your age and your desire to like learn and curiosity and like willing to throw yourself into things was an advantage? Yeah,
I think like what they have been saying, we have a lot of young 20-year-olds in our team now, and I think that they love Gen Z, and they have just said that it's not about, like, it doesn't matter about age to them. It's just your work ethic, and they have found that like Gen Z will say yes to things, will come up with great ideas, and we're not just like restricted to that's the way it's always been done. in a business sense. Like we're open to new ideas, and I think, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. What is something that you wish that you knew 5 years ago that you know now?
I personally, 5 years ago, I wish I would have had more conversations with people, and people would have told me all of the different options. Like the world is your oyster. There's so many different options. It's not just when you're in school, you feel so suffocated by uni's the only option. I just think that knowing what I do now about business and how many different options are out there and opportunities, I wish if I just knew that 5 years ago, and also started posting on YouTube when it was popping off back then.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
COVID, like posting content sooner in COVID, the COVID boom.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. Even just posting content generally, right? Like I feel like even though I started posting on Instagram, like that was the first platform that I kind of like mastered.
Yeah.
And then went on to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Loved LinkedIn, like probably my favorite platform now.
Yeah. I love
and then
LinkedIn.
Now over onto TikTok, like I feel like I wish I had started earlier.
Yes.
But you can say that in hindsight. Would you do anything differently? Like I know you're still very young, which is no criticism, but would you do anything differently based on what you know now and looking back at the journey that you've had to date? Would you tackle anything differently?
I am quickly interrupting to let you know that all of the good stuff lives in our emails. Cheat sheets, exclusive events, workshops that we run for our community that are centered around marketing, social media, and personal branding. You can sign up for our emails in the show notes. Back to the episode.
I would have just not gone to uni. But in saying that, I would have always wondered what if, like I wouldn't have known what it was like. And so I just think it was a bit of a waste of a year and money for me. So I wouldn't have done that if I knew what I did now, and I would have just started earlier, learning as much as I can and like making connections with as many people as possible, because it really is like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's who you know that teaches you what you know. So if you're surrounded by people and having those conversations, like what you can learn is just crazy. So I would have started that earlier. And I would have just, put myself out there a bit earlier. But
What do you think? I mean, you said you were known as the prompt girl. What do you think do you think people have a misconception about who you are based on what they see online?
I think everyone, when you look at anyone online, you think, oh, they've got it all figured out and they know what they're doing. Like I'm still learning about AI every day, and I'm just documenting my journey of learning it. Like, or I'm still figuring everything out as I go. Like you think that everyone has it together, but really everyone's just trying their best.
They're just trying their best.
Yeah.
It's all just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Before we get into quick fire, what does the next 5 years look like for Tahlia?
In a business career sense, I'm so excited for Kinso to launch, and I'm so excited for it to be known Australia, worldwide, and for it to be the thing that every founder and business operator needs in their life. And I'm really excited to be a part of that meaningful journey. Like it's just so exciting, and it's moving so fast, and I'm just so excited to see 5 years down the line where we are. And personally, I just want to keep creating meaningful connections and doing what lights me up on the weekends. I can't wait to keep like moving towards my goals with my partner, having like quality family time, and just like I want to look back 5 years from now and go, I'm so proud that I just gave it my all and just worked hard, because I think your 20s are for working hard and just throwing yourself into everything. Like that's the time that you can do that.
Yeah.
And then in 5 years, maybe I'll start to settle down a little bit. But I just want to know that I've put everything I possibly could into it and worked as hard as I could.
Yeah, I love that. I have one question before we go into quick fire. If there are people that are listening to this that are still sitting on the fence around AI, what is one piece of advice that you would give to them about leaning into it or experimenting with it?
I would just say getting in the habit of thinking, like if you haven't yet adopted AI, it's not a thought. So every time you have a task to do or you have to come up with something, think, okay, how could I use it to my advantage, but not just get it to come up with it for me. So asking it how I've got to do this task, ask me questions, like I said before, with the to extract all of my thinking power. And then that initiates so much creativity. And then use that to then come up with your answer. 100%, that's the best way to start. And it also guides you through it as you go. And then just using it, getting in the habit of thinking, okay, how can I actually use AI to make this way easier, this task?
Yeah.
So deep research or whatever it is. Just being open to learn, like every single day, just get on it because you learn by doing. So if you're on AI and using it just every single day, you'll just get so much better at it and you'll learn what works and what doesn't and what prompts work and what don't.
Yeah.
But overall, always ask it for a prompt and then you paste that back in because the prompts that it comes up with are great.
Love that. All right, quick fire questions. They're not quickly answered, but they are quick fire questions. What is one brand that first comes to mind for you?
Apple, I'd say.
Why?
I think I'm looking at them for a lot of inspo with Kinso at the moment and their branding, and it's just like it's just beautiful, like their branding and the experience when you walk into an Apple store. And I want users to have that experience when they're using Kinso. So that's what we've been thinking about recently. So I think they've just nailed it with their user experience and everything.
Love that. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, I get advice daily from Frank and Jacques. I can't even think of which one is the best. But honestly, what's resonated the most with me is probably just to stop doubting myself and just back yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever received? Go to uni.
Yeah, go to uni, literally from all my career advisors at school.
I love that.
Literally.
Is it actually the worst piece of advice, you reckon?
Probably. Like, I don't know. It's just, everyone around me at that time was saying, go to uni. So I was like, oh, yeah. But that's my fault completely for not knowing what I wanted to do. But, that probably is.
I mean, I was making a joke, but sure. What's one thing that you think that helps keep a business or a brand top of mind?
I think it's just getting in front of as many people as you possibly can. So like doing every possible thing you can to get in front of people. So whether it's social media or events or just like just leveraging every way you can possibly get in front of people. It doesn't matter if it doesn't directly convert, but like just being at the top of their mind at all times and figuring out what works and what doesn't.
Love. A quote that is always top of mind for you?
One that just came to mind is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Love. Last question. 10 years from now, what do you hope people say about you?
I hope that I've inspired, even if it's just a few. I would be so happy if I've inspired just a few people to go after their dream career or go after their dream business or, just take that shot and go all in and back themselves and create something meaningful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You are honestly so inspiring to talk to, and I love, and it's like so promising to see somebody of your age so keen to kind of just get stuck in, to do the work, to figure it out as they go. And I think that there's a lot of people, not just young people, that could learn from you, but people that are in their 30s and 40s that, you know, could not only learn more about AI, but also just letting go of the doubt or the fear or the things that are holding them back. Thank you so much for sitting with me and chatting. I've absolutely loved it. And I have no doubt that the people that are listening and watching this will have loved it as well.
Thank you so much. I loved it so much. Thank you for having me on for my first potty.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yay!